Benjamin was not his original name. Rachel died moments after giving birth to him, and as her soul was departing, she called him Ben-Ani, son of my sorrow. Later on, Jacob changed it to Benjamin, son of my right hand. That was kind of him.
Do you have any land? Assets? Savings? Anything you can sell off to fulfill this unthinkable sum?
In thinking back on it, I think old Emma Rachel was correct.
So he was talking about Rachel and Benjamin being born, and Rachel dies giving birth, and she gives birth in Bethlehem Ephratah, which is the same area where the shepherds came and announced Yeshua, and then Yeshua's born there, right? And then the two names here that he's talking about, Ben-Oni and Ben-Yamin, those are two names that define and describe the two aspects of Yeshua. Ben-Oni is like the suffering son.
Son of suffering.
And then you have Ben-Yamin, which is son of the right hand.
Wow.
The right hand of the Father. So you have this the suffering servant, and you have the king, the Davidic,
Shui.
So, and then Yeshua. In Bethlehem.
Yeah.
And so Yeshua, when he's born, he's continuing the family line.
Yep.
There's this continuity of the children of Israel in the very location even of where Yeshua is born.
Wow.
Just unbelievably amazing.
There's so many things that point to how amazingly orchestrated the story is, right? I mean, the bread of life, he is the bread of life. He's born in Bethlehem, the house of bread, right? That's just another one, It's like there's just so much. That's so cool. Son of suffering, son of my right hand, and then that's where Yeshua was born. Man, that's cool.
Though I take no pleasure in doing this, I have no choice but to place you under arrest.
I understand. Thank you. May I gift you?
Gift?
Gratuity. For your wonderful service and kindness in listening to me go on.
It is not customary.
In truth, these are the most valuable things I own.
An asset?
More valuable than gold, more precious than rubies.
I may be able to help you liquidate it. We could work together. A ledger coming up this short on a balance this big reflects very poorly on my performance.
These are one of a kind. They date back to the first exile. Made from the world's most exquisite tequila.
So he was referring to the snails. I don't even remember the name, Taki something he said.
Oh, that's right.
And those snails are where they get the blue dye.
Yeah, the color, right?
And for, I don't even know how many years, 1,800 years, the snails weren't around. They couldn't find them. And then about 100 years ago, in the Mediterranean on the coast of Israel, somewhere in there, they started finding those same exact snails again. And so then they started making the blue dye for the tzitzit.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know.
Right
that.
around the time that the Jewish people start coming back to the land in thousands, thousands of immigration
It was
happening.
a setup.
Isn't that amazing?
It's like a natural sign and wonder of the Jewish people returning to their land.
The rebirth of Israel.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
That's so cool.
Right.
That's so cool. Whoa.
That man wanted you to have his faith. That was the last thing he had, his most valuable thing in the world. And you have it. That man wanted you to be Jewish again, and you are. It was his dying wish.
Why would he want that for someone like me?
Because sometimes God sends a dove.
The dove.
I never told anyone this before, but the day I met Jesus was the same day I was ready to end my life.
What?
I was going to leap from a great height when a dove caught my eye. I couldn't resist following it. And it led me to the place where I met Jesus. That old man was your dove. Our lives have often been painful, yes? So we think life is full of scarcity and not abundance. But then there are those times when, out of nowhere, somehow the world expresses its longing to be whole. And suddenly God steps in. And we are pulled out of our blindness. We're invited into redemption. I know I was. I know you were.
I don't know what to say.
Maybe don't say anything.
Amen.
I know you have felt unworthy. Matthew, I know you felt unworthy. But it's time to add a new accessory to your clothes. Or rather, an old one.
I love how they're connecting, his faith in Yeshua as him coming back and embracing his Jewish identity.
I'm so glad you said it that way.
They're doing a good job of showing that, loving Yeshua and being Jewish are very much coherent, and
they're not opposed to one another.
No, that flies against the face of so much of the last 2,000 years.
Right.
And so, I was thinking, this emphasis on the tzitzit, we had the episode of the woman with the issue of blood, and I was thinking about how throughout the last 2,000 years, how few people, Gentile Christians, I would say, actually knew that Jesus was actually Jewish.
Right.
And so, the Chosen's portrayal of that scene, and even in this scene here, also just how that would have changed Christian history if Christians would have known that Jesus was wearing tassels, wearing fringes, that he was Jewish. That simple thing that they've portrayed, I think it will change Jewish-Christian relations.
Yeah.
It's a turning point.
Right.
People, it's the world knows that he's Jewish now.
Right.
So I would say millions know now who many may not have known a couple of years ago.
Right.
That's extraordinary. I couldn't thank the Chosen enough just for that right there. That's huge. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And what the Lord is all about, one of the things the Lord is all about, is bringing in this family of unique people, Jewish and from the nations, and saving them and bringing them into his family, and yet they're retaining their identity.
Right.
of who they are, who the Lord created them to be. And he wants this big, beautiful, diverse family. And part of that is this recognition that he's the Jewish Messiah. It's a paradigm shift, and it's something that we went through. It's something that lots of people need to go through, and lots of people, like you said, are going through, and it's a really cool thing. And so, yeah, like you're saying, like Chosen's doing a good job of like, this is congruent with the gospel story. Is that he came as a Jew. He is a Jewish man. He's a Jewish Messiah. And the disciples, the apostles that went forth and spread this message to the Decapolis and beyond were Jewish men.
And that they don't have to become Gentiles.
Exactly.
Because they love Jesus and follow Jesus. They just get to be and really need to be who God created them to be, whatever that looks like, whoever you are, different ethnic heritage that you have and the specific calling that you have.
And then later they get to fight for maintaining Jewish identity and maintaining Gentile identity. Like stay the way you were when you were called, as Paul puts it in 1 Corinthians.
Yeah, you're right. Paul says, 1 Corinthians 7, he says, this is the rule in all the churches. If you're circumcised, remain circumcised. If you're uncircumcised, remain uncircumcised. Remain in the calling in which you have been chosen.
Exactly.
Like it's really clear in the text, actually. If you're Jewish, remain Jewish. Gentile, remain Gentile. And this is a rule. This is actually part of Paul's gospel. This is what how he's imparting this, I would call biblical Messianic worldview to the known, Roman Empire at the time. If you like our videos, please help us spread a biblical Messianic worldview by donating to Grafted.
Montage.
Cue fans for wind.